Hello, beautiful people, Stephanie here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's tin whistle video. Today we're taking a look at compass whistles. These whistles are from a brand new whistle maker based in the UK, and I have the full set to show you today. So that's an E flat, D, C, B flat, and an A whistle, all from the same maker. Now, compass whistles have a similar look and sound to Killarney or Lear whistles. They come in a selection of different finishes, so there's the option of brass, copper, nickel, or sometimes listed as chrome on their website, a green and a black gloss. So I'm going to show you all of these whistles today with all the different finishes. I'll give you some close-ups so you can see how they look. I'll play each one of them so you can hear how they sound, and I'll give you my first impressions on these whistles. We'll also do some tuning tests and some volume tests as well, just so you have an idea of where these sit in comparison to other whistles. So let's first things first, take a look at the close-ups. I'm going to start with the A whistle, and you can see here that obviously it's larger than a regular D whistle. This is the chrome or nickel finish. I'm not sure whether they planned initially to do chrome and then went with nickel, or they planned to do nickel and went with chrome. It's a little confusing, but their website is new, their whistles are new, so they'll choose one or the other, I imagine, at some point soon. But we'll probably go ahead and say this is most likely nickel. You will be able to confirm on the website when you place an order. You can see we have the logo embossed here. The mouthpiece is very similar to a Lear whistle and a Killarney whistle. It's sort of a Delrin mouthpiece, and you have a little glimpse of the metal tubing through the mouthpiece there as well. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. They are straight bore whistles. This one is in a nice silver colour. Moving along, the B flat whistle I have is in the brass finish. It's pretty much exactly the same as the A whistle. It has the logo here. And I did forget to mention that the key of these whistles is sort of engraved on the back here. It's quite small at the bottom, but it does give you a reference point so you know which key you've got. The C whistle I have in the black gloss finish. You can see it's still nice and shiny, even though it's that sort of painted finish. Again, the logo shows up really nicely on the black gloss finish because there's a little more contrast. This one actually has a brass coloured top, and again, everything else applies. The little key written on the back and the mouthpiece, as we've seen. The D whistle I have in the green finish. Again, we've got the brass coloured top and the logo and the D written on the back. Everything nice and straightforward. You can see that the green finish is still nice and shiny as well. It does have that nice light catching moment throughout. And the highest whistle, the E flat, is in the copper finish. It's sort of a rose goldy sort of colour. It's quite nice. Again, you can see the embossed logo and the key on the back. This one has the chrome coloured mouthpiece or the nickel coloured mouthpiece. Now, all of these whistles are available directly from the Compass Whistle website. I have linked that in the description down below. They are sold individually and they're all individually priced, and it doesn't matter what finish you go for, the whistles are the same price regardless. So you can just choose based on your preference how you'd like your whistle to look. We'll see if there's any difference in the sound, but I'm pretty sure it's more of an aesthetic finish than anything. There's nothing here to say that the sort of metal finishes on these won't tarnish. I'm sure they will. This one is starting to look a little tarnished already. They developed that patina. You can polish these up just like you can with any other metal, but also you can just enjoy the changing nature of your whistle and how it looks. Now, on the website at the moment there is a discount if you buy the full set, and you can customize each key, so you don't have to have them all, for example, in this nice copper rose gold color. You could have them all green, or you could have them completely different colors, like the set that I've got today. It also helps me remember which key is which if I'm just trying to grab one quickly. But that's enough of how they look. Let's hear how they sound. Now, as you can hear from the sound sample, these whistles do sound very similar to the Lear and Kalani whistles. They play in a very similar way, and I feel very at home with these whistles straight away because I've played Lear whistles so much. The voice isn't quite as pure in tone. I think there's a little bit more texture with these whistles than there is with the Lear whistle. But that actually is sometimes quite good, especially if you're playing with other musicians. It sort of gives you that little bit of cut, that little bit of edge. The Lear whistle have made the Lear Pro now, which has a bit more clarity in its sound, a bit more like these. So that's actually better suited to session playing rather than just playing or recording. So these actually might be great session whistles. So let's take a look at the volume test. Some of these whistles have a decent bit of volume. They seem to get quieter naturally as you get lower. It's a perception thing, it's not necessarily a decibel thing, but if you prefer a mellower whistle, I would definitely recommend going for the A or the B flat over the E flat, which of course sounds the most loud and the most shrill. But it's a pretty sweet little whistle. I think what I like about things like this is the thickness of the metal and the back pressure that these whistles have, and this style of whistle has, allows you that extra level of breath control. And it also thickens the sound somewhat, so even the higher whistles don't sound quite as thin and tinny. And I think that always makes for a nice smooth sound. One great thing to note about these whistles is they are tunable. That means that all the mouthpieces move away and towards the body so that you can fine-tune these to suit both the temperature on the day that you're playing, how warmed up the whistles are, the amount of breath that you like to put through the whistle. All of these make a difference to the tuning. So with that in mind, let's take a little look at the tuning test on these and see how we get on. I'll shuffle around the tuning slides a little bit just so I get the best tuning for these. It's a warm day today, but the whistles themselves are actually cold. They haven't been played yet. So let's take a listen to how they sound tuning-wise. So as you can see from the tuning test, we're hitting practically every single note throughout the full range of these whistles, pretty much right on tune. There is a difference in breath requirement as the whistles get larger, basically, as you go down the scale. So the E-flat whistle doesn't really need a lot of air to play in tune, whereas the larger A and B flat whistles are a little more air hungry because of the size of the tube themselves. That happens as you go down in size. Low D whistles always need a lot more air than high D whistles, for example. So bear in mind, if you get the set, not every single whistle in the set is going to play in exactly the same way. So you'll still need to get to know each whistle in its separate key and know how to work your breath requirements and your breath control to get the most out of these whistles. So even though they're the same brand, there is a little bit of difference in how they play individually. I find that across most whistle sets that I own. We've got a lovely bit of strength and clarity in all of our cross-fingered notes, so the C natural and of course the half hole as well. They both play nice and cleanly. The tuning slides themselves are smooth and easy to use, so they've been greased before they've been sent out, but again, this will need a little bit of maintenance. It's a really easy thing to maintain. You just put a little bit of slide grease on every now and again. And that keeps your whistles easy to move and nice and slick. So let me play another tune on these whistles for you, and I'll give you my final thoughts on them. And then I'll send you guys down to the link in the description down below to check out the website and find out more information. So, in my opinion, these whistles are pretty easy to play. There isn't a lot of squeaking that goes on. They're pretty stable, which I like. They're pretty easy to push up into the second octave. They fly up into the high notes because they've got a bit more back pressure. So you do need that added push, but they don't leave you breathless. They don't leave you wanting for air. The larger the whistles get, they do get a little more air hungry. So the A and the B flat, you might find yourself taking a few more breaths, whereas the E flat, the D and the C, you'll probably find you've got a little bit of air left over. They look and feel really well made. As I said, they're a whistle style, a whistle shape that I'm very familiar with. If you've played Lear whistles or Kalani whistles before and you like them, chances are you'll like these. If you've played them and you didn't like them, the chances are you might not be so keen on these, so just bear that in mind when you order. I like the fact that you can choose the colour that you like. It makes them a little bit customizable in a way. I think that's really nice. Now on their website they offer prices in American dollars, euros and pounds. I have put a few prices up on screen throughout the video as they've been playing. These are the current prices when this video goes out, but obviously they are subject to change. If you'd like more information or you have any questions on any of these instruments, please do let me know down in the comments below. If you've tried them or if you plan to try them, again, let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. So if you do want to find out more, head over to the website linked down below and check these out. And don't forget to check out some of my other whistle reviews and a few of the videos where I've played these whistles pretty recently. Enjoy, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you guys again next week for some awesome tin whistle tunes. Bye!